Yeah, baby, you know what time it is. Now let's get it started.
Are you kidding me? Unreal!
While our HBCUs are mostly known for academic rigor, community, they also know how to turn up.
Does he have it? Yes, he does! And that might be the knockout punch.
All right, y'all. Greetings and salutations. Another episode of Fangs up here. And yeah, it was a long day, wasn't it, yesterday? Hopefully you got to enjoy it. Because man, I definitely I left feeling some type of way. Everybody else. Uh, see if we get this sound right. Yeah, it's a work in progress. So we learn, we play, we try to make it better. Okay. That's good. All right. It is what it is for today. All right, so that being said, y'all, as y'all can see, we try to give you top notch product. But man, yesterday we've been tough on your FAMU fans. You might want to check on your HBCU grads and kind of see how they feeling. Because after yesterday, a lot of us were kind of upset. We had good reason to be so. I mean, it wasn't the draft that you wanted. It was not just the draft. And oof, I was looking at that baseball and softball this past weekend. It was rough. That was not it. I don't know what to tell y'all about this week. Um, I a lot to be desired. A lot of meat left there on the bone. But before we get started with that, big shout out HBCU Network. This is home. Also check out Herb Stewart and the Black Techies. If you did not check yesterday, Herb was a little late to the party. But, I was representing HBCU in the HBCU, and he was what? Mm, he was dished. It was it was given. If you missed it, you missed the street. I'm just gonna say it like that. Man, no, I'm gonna leave it on. I'm gonna leave it on there for the day. But oh man, FAMU baseball, we lost series against Alabama State, and yeah, that was one. Yeah, it's tough loss. It's at a time when you kind of need it. Like FAMU and Alabama State are neck and neck in the Southwestern Athletic Conference in terms of baseball, and kind of late night. I mean, you call it something else, but it is what it is. We didn't do very well in that series. Turn around on that softball team. Lost the series to Jackson State. That's two series that we lost back to back. State this week, UCU the week before. I'm just gonna say it like this, man. As a fan, I'm frustrated. That's something you want, and you want to do better, especially when the SWAC tournament is coming. And right now, we're in fifth place in the division, so you're gonna make the tournament, but not by a lot. That's not what you're looking for, especially May 9th. You got a few days. It's about graduation time and all the other stuff. Final, yeah. That's kind of tough. It's kind of tight because again, in this season's coming up, I think we want more than that. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm saving the draft for the end. So we came in, you hear me talk about the football stuff that happened the other day. I'm saving that to the end. 'Cause, yeah. it's- Um, now, Baby Trent, we did pretty solid. That was pretty straight. East Coast relays. We had top performers. Just name a few. I'm not gonna go through all of them. But Dejon Clark and Sanai Berry both in the 100 meters, 10-4 and 11-9. Like, that's pretty solid. And if you haven't checked out round one, please check out St. Clair. We did get to talk to the family track coach. And my question was honest. Yo, coach, what's up with the family relays? That was a big event. Like That's something that growing up, that was a major track event. It was a good recruiting event, and it's something that it's a big recruiting weekend. If you can keep that track up, it can continue to be a good recruiting weekend. And honestly, facilities wise, with the track and field, you want to do something different in the way of like a soccer or a lacrosse. There's your field. I'm saying it's right there. All you gotta do is take it. Yeah, I just again, I'm like a lot of y'all, man, with that. Now tennis, tomorrow's a day. Tomorrow is D-Day for the two-time SWAC champions. How are they two times? They won the regular season and the postseason. Um, it's solid, man. Like this season for them, we did get to talk to that coach as well and talk to her about how the season was going and how she felt about it. Yep, she's excited. I'm with her. Like that's a solid thing we have going on there. And tennis, we went to the NCAA tournament, and my question was about seeding. Where are we going to get seeded at? How are we going to Gainesville? Seems like we go to Gainesville. I asked her that. She's like, yeah, I don't know yet. But we'll find out tomorrow, 6 o'clock. I'm going to watch it. But, ah, man, that was, you know what you're going to do. Now, football is what brings y'all here most times. And so that's why, I make sure I touch with everybody that I could. But I'm going to end up on football. And yeah, we started on a good note, though. On a high note, and we got a couple commitments. And if you haven't been paying attention, it's been pretty solid up here. Like, FAMU is not playing when it comes to these recruiting, this recruiting. And yeah, like, let's start off with the first guy that we ended up getting, Andrew Ritter, linebacker from Leon High School. Yeah, not a long ride. So that's a good addition. It's a good pickup. It's not a, technically, I would see it as a position of need, but it's a position that you need in the future. You consider that your top two linebackers are both seniors, and that's that's a position of need going forward. Like that's going to be pretty huge. Now, on the other side of that, Marcus Riley's coming back, coming home. Marcus Riley went to Ricketts High School, played receiver at BCU for a few years, graduated, coming to FAMU as a graduate transfer, and that was what we got earlier today. We're going to shake the world a little bit. This is the shaking that you got. Got another receiver, and we kind of heard that FAMU was one receiver away. Is this the guy? I don't know. I think he's solid. He doesn't have elite size, but what he does is he's a receiver. And I think he's very much in that Xavier Smith model. Like so another receiver, not great size, but that has a proven track record. And that is going to be an addition to the FAMU offense. And that's something that you're definitely needing. You need some speed. I really want some size, but we don't have that. So I'm not gonna complain about it. Now, what made a lot of us mad as fans was we did see Isaiah Land got signed, but he didn't get drafted. And for me, I'm with you. Like I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan. It's my second year in a row. I'm kind of like, y'all gonna be cheap. I think he was worthy of a draft pick. I understand why it didn't happen, but at the same point, some of that's my own fan bias. Like that's not. I know I'm not here to lie to you. I'm gonna tell you the truth about that. Some of that is my fan bias. That is my love for FAMU. That is my love for FAMU athletics and athletes. I thought he was worthy of getting drafted. That being stated, I also understood that okay, size was an issue. That was something I brought up last year when we first started talking about Isaiah Land in the NFL. I made the comparison to a Telvin Smith, who was an undersized linebacker. And my question was, all right, is he going to get a chance to play stand-up linebacker? And we didn't do a lot of that this year. He was hands in the dirt. He was a rush in, played edge. He played hurt. And he also missed the UNC game, which was a great opportunity to be seen against a player at that level, not at his own fault though. So you start to see where like, man, crap, Isaiah does fall out of the draft, immediately gets picked up, and it's just one of those things where it's like, man, it would have been nice to have him get drafted just so that he can get the contract opportunity and so those things like that. And just the commitment of having a draft pick or a draft number associated with your name. That was just something I felt like he missed. Fair or not, I just felt like that. That was my opinion. And again, some of that is me being a fan. So that's also me being an honest fan, though. That in the moment, I was very upset. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I was mad. like, I talked to my uncle, and I was like, I kind of don't want to talk right now, but it was because I was angry. But I was glad that I did get to talk to my uncle because we had good conversation. And one of the things I love about my uncle, we always had honest conversations about sports. Never all that fandom. You have some of that, but a lot of it is also that rationale of, okay, maybe this isn't what I thought it was. And then I went to the HBCU nightly space, and I was there the whole time. I'm not gonna lie to you. And somebody brought it up early. It was very early. And they brought up COVID. I was like, dang, I didn't think about that. But Isaiah Land got drafted last year because Land and Smith kind of fall into that COVID group of students that were our super seniors. And then I kind of looked over, I was like, maybe not. Maybe, maybe not. And then again, I'm giving people all their credit today. Back from the Blue Bloods, he mentioned that last year Buck Buchanan Award winners hadn't gotten drafted. So neither the Buck Buchanan Award or the Payton Award is indicative of a draft position. And it's like, dang, that lightens the blow a lot more too. And so now I can come in as not just a fan, but a rationale informed person that can look at the Isaiah Land situation and say, well, I feel like he still should have gotten drafted. Because I do feel like some of the guys that got drafted, he was better. He's better. I can also turn around and say, I understand why it didn't happen. But I'm glad he goes to the Cowboys. Like, not just because you get Isaiah Land and Marquise Bell reunited on the team together, but also because at the edge rush position, if he plays edge rusher at the Dallas for the Dallas Cowboys, I almost said FAMU, there's a shot where he could at least see the field. And there's a shot on special teams as well. And does he transition to being more of a linebacker? Again, he looked solid at the Senior Bowl. And he's put on good weight. But that was something that kind of had me ask the question. And I know I got a group of friends that we do talk and we chat. And that was one of the things when I saw Isaiah a few weeks ago, he looks yoked up. Like I'm just saying, muscle wise, this year, this spring game compared to last spring game, that's a different dude. And it's still nice to have. Like I'm not Isaiah Land is one of those players that you root for because off the field, no trouble. On the field, name the last time he got some kind of stupid penalty. Like he's an overall pretty solid dude. Like you talk to him, he's yes sir, no sir. Mind you, Isaiah Lynn's taller than me. Like, and I don't look my age. Like, I realize I'm approaching 40. I don't look 40. Like, and he's still yes sir, no sir. All things, he tries to be very respectful. He's a guy that you root for, and so part of my frustration was my fandom. Again, I tell you all the time, I'm a FAMU fan. Like, I'm not just an alumni. I'm a fan. And yeah, I get to cover the sport. I get to be on campus and walk around the field and go to the different areas and stuff like that. But at my core, I'm a family fan. Like, there's still a part of me that's that kid that grew up at Bragg Stadium and going to all the games with his parents, going to the step shows with his mom, like going to FAMU basketball at Gaither with his dad. Like, some of that is still in me, and that's okay. That's part of what makes it personal, and that's also part of what makes you want to invest in the program, not just as a person, but as a fan, maybe as a hobbyist, and as a professional as well. Like, I take this and I'm like, yo, I want to produce a decent quality uh, a decent level of content because I do love FAMU. I am biased. Like, there's no way of saying that. Like, I'm not completely unbiased. I do have my bias. I'm gonna be honest when I and with Isaiah Land, I definitely had some bias. There was part of me that was upset that he didn't get drafted, not because it was Isaiah Land, but because I felt like he was deserving of better. So we saw that, and man, uh, I ain't gonna lie, I would give myself a 9-second break here. Just a little replay, but I'm gonna try to take this thing. Quick break, and then we'll be right back. Might take like 12 seconds. 25. Here we go. I'm at 80 seconds. Ask y'all to donate.
I'm hoping we can get more donors than ever and more dollars than ever donated to the Rattler Athletic Fund as part of our 1887 Strikes campaign to really support the student athlete experience. There are a number of things I want to do to enhance the feel and the look of their locker rooms. That's their home base. Provide additional scholarship dollars so that our student athletes can graduate at a faster pace and just really improve the overall experience of Rattler Athletics.
All right, we back. Let me see if I can fix it back. Look, I'm human, y'all. And when I notice it don't sound right, it bothers me. I'm not a perfectionist, but at the same point, it's got to be a certain level. I got FAMU stuff on, FAMU stuff on. I'm trying to work right. Um, but that being said, y'all, and I appreciate it. Look, I just feel that back to our guys. Now we did have another player get signed, Xavier Smith, the X-Man. Oh, that's gonna lead this little win thing off. I'm inside. I'm inside. You don't need all that. But then I definitely thought I didn't. I didn't think he was gonna. I wasn't surprised he didn't get drafted. There we go. I should have said that. I did think he might have caught on in a later round, but it wasn't a complete shock. But I will say this: we learned a lot because of Xavier Smith, and more importantly, because of former coach KJ Black. If you were in that spaces yesterday, yo, KJ gave you the tea. Like, there was a ram in the bush, and one of the things we pointed out was one, what the NFL is looking for in receivers. If you missed that part, you missed the treat. I'm just saying, like, as a person that played football, that played receiver, and that could realize when it was time to let it go, you saw the difference. And then you actually also were able to learn about the difference in the route tree. That was something else that I appreciated. I thoroughly enjoyed that. Yeah, this thing sounds a lot better without that noise, whatever. Yeah. Um, yeah, I just I left I left that situation and took away a level of knowledge that I did not have before. I knew a lot of it. I didn't know everything. And some of it were some of the questions that we as fans asked. Like, not even what Coach Black is doing with the Rams, but what it means to have a person like that with the Rams. And if you didn't know, and I'll be honest, I didn't know. He's receivers coach with the Rams now. I knew he was kind of in the analyst role before, but you can see this brother's moving up. Like pretty soon, 3 to 5 years, KJ Black's gonna be a name that you're gonna know. Is just if he continues the same trajectory. And if you're not familiar, he was offensive coordinator at FAMU. And him and Willie Simmons had a relationship from his time at Prairie View, where Simmons was the head coach at Prairie View, Black was the quarterback. Later on, goes into coaching. And the thing I took away from his time speaking in that spaces, yeah, you can go share it. I mean, go check it. I shared it. And I normally share the HBCU nightly space, even if I'm not in it. It costs me nothing to share. That's just to me that's respect. Respect for another brother that's trying to do something and a group of us that is trying to do something for the culture. It costs nothing to share. But one of the things that I took away was that representation matters. And you heard Coach Black say one, he had to go back and re-recruit Xavier. And he kind of had to coach him. Like if you listen to what he stated, and I didn't I didn't try to cut and paste from the recording because again it's not my recording. But go back and listen to it. And he's actually gonna state where he had to kind of remind Xavier that you've done this before. This isn't your first time kind of being doubted and where he came from. But he also mentioned that Xavier Smith is a steal. That's something we all know. I mean, his route running is solid. No, he's not huge, but he also mentioned where some of it was immeasurable. But a lot of it was that there was a familiarity with Xavier that one wasn't there with a lot of the other receivers, but then film wise, Xavier put something on film that mattered. Now the other thing was our criticism of the HBCU combine. I told y'all right after, I was like, the website's kind of trash. Like I went out there myself trying to find stuff like, all right, who's this year's players? Who's this? Who's that? What's their profile? Wasn't a lot. Like pretty much told you how to buy tickets, how to buy merch. And that's cool. But at the same point, that's not what I came for. I wanted to learn about the players because I knew about Xavier Smith. I knew about the guys who went to FAMU. I wanted to learn about the other guys. And you could hear where Coach Black was he literally had to request film from them for some of the players. And some of the players are even saying this stuff wasn't done right. And it's like, oh, now maybe this isn't what a lot of people are being told it is. Now, granted, there are some opportunities that some of the players honestly probably would not have gotten. But at the same point, it, we didn't get a player drafted from it. We did get some good attention though. Like I will give them that. Like yeah, we definitely got great press. And I love one of the things Coach Richard stated. Somebody I think William McGraw yard talk was talking about exposure, and Coach Riz goes, "What more exposure could you get?" And it's like y'all are both making each other's points. He's saying, "What's the benefit of all this exposure if they're not getting drafted?" And Coach Riz is saying, "Man, we just give you kind of exposure that nobody else in the nation got." It's true. What other athletes? What other school had two athletes constantly on NFL Network? I mean, we saw the Reese's game and all this stuff. Isaiah Land goes pretty much him and Juwan Arkham Jackson State are pretty much your MVP. What did it get us? Like, either one of them got drafted. So I think if the draft is the end all be all and the outcome, we have some different things that we need to do. And some of these problems we know are problems. And one of the things Coach Black pointed out is the same thing that was stated in the Why Not documentary. The nutrition program need work. And that's not a new issue. That's not something we don't know. That's something you know that exists. It's been documented. It's not been documented on some paper. There's film telling you a whole TV series saying, "Yeah, we got to improve this nutrition program." It's not a shock anymore. It's not a surprise. It is what it is. You know that our nutrition program need work. This is where now, as a athletic program, that becomes a focus of ours, and maybe that's something that we can use that agricultural part of the university to help supplement. Like, or the agricultural and mechanical university is saying agricultural part definitely has some food science aspects to it. Maybe this is something where food science wise, we can help get that involved. You can fix that in with the athletic program so that, oh crap, maybe we can find some type of grants where some students can do research on food science. And the food science can show, hey, this is how athletes perform in the field this way. No, you don't want to be guinea pigs, but what you're trying to do is maximize your potential to get resources within the university and also utilize the university to benefit these programs that are within it, which athletics is definitely one. I'm just saying that's outside the box thinking. That's a problem that we know we have. Like we're just saying, we know that the nutrition program needs work because, like I stated, Isaiah Lynn looks like a different body. Like I remember last year, I was like, all right, cool. I think he's a linebacker. I don't know about a defensive end. This year, I looked at him. I was like, he's a tweener. Like, he can slide down. I don't know if he stays there, but he looked like a solid 230 last year. 215. Yeah. Like you can see though, after he left FAMU, the nutrition program improved. Look at Xavier Smith. Same thing. After the season ended, nutrition improved. Like the athletes start looking a little different when you're giving them better food. I mean, we know this. I mean, PBJ is great. At the same point, we have to hit those more nuanced things because it's bigger than the X's and O's. And some of that falls on us as alumni to continue to contribute, to continue to support the Building the Champions programs. But if we're going to win and we're going to dominate, we've got to be able to improve that. The other thing I kept hearing was, do we leave the SWAC? And at first I was like, nah, we just dominated. But then I started, you know, I'll listen. I'll listen to anybody. I'm not going to with everybody, but I'll listen to anybody. And the idea was mentioned like maybe FAMU and a few other HBCUs should move to SWAC or a new conference. That's a viable option. Some of them dudes that got drafted were definitely getting drafted because of the helmets that they had on, and not because of them being better than some guys from HBCUs. But we have to develop that as a conglomerate, but it's also not the responsibility of FAMU to take care of the rest of the SWAC. It's like it wasn't the responsibility of Dion to take care of the SWAC. It wasn't. He wasn't doing for HBCUs. He was doing for Jackson State. Just like Willie said, he's not doing for the SWAC. He's going to do for FAMU. That's his job. And he's going to do what he can to help other schools and whatnot like that and offer them opportunities. But his job is to put FAMU first and push FAMU forward. That's what it is. And at a certain point, we have to get our university leadership to understand that they have to continuously push our university forward and put our university first. But it really falls on the university presidents if they are going to try to maximize the opportunities for HBCUs to move to a higher level, like the FBS. Because to try to put that on your football coaches isn't fair. Like, yeah, he's making $300,000, but that, look across the street what Norvell is making and what Simmons is making, and who's got a better record. I'm just saying, at a certain point, you got to hashtag pay that man because otherwise, gonna look elsewhere. So it was very enlightening to sit in that spaces yesterday and to ask questions, like to kind of pose like, hey, what did it mean to have someone in the room? Right? I'm a huge Hamilton fan, and one of my favorite songs is "The Room Where It Happened," and I love Aaron Burr and especially my boy O'Neal Clark. Where he's singing about being in the room where it happened, and it made a difference. We saw in this draft here, in particular, having a person in the room where it happened made all the difference in the world. How many times do we see that with other schools? Like we're gonna recklessly say that our HBCUs are underrepresented and not getting the proper respect. But how many HBCUs have someone in the room where it happened? How many HBCUs have somebody that either graduated, matriculated through, or finished through that university in the room in the NFL where people are gonna pick and choose who gets drafted? 'Cause as a Dallas Cowboy fan, I know my favorite video that I've seen so far is the video not so much of Isaiah Land. Honestly, that pissed me off. We should have drafted. But it was a six-round pick where one of the scouting analysts, his son, the running back for Kansas State, he's drafted. And they put the son and the dad on the phone, and it's a beautiful moment. And I'm not discounting that that kid was a good player. But what does it mean to have someone in the room that can vouch for that student, that can say, yeah, his stats are good, but also that's good people. We know what stock he comes from. That's a good dude. What did that mean when KJ Black is saying, no, Xavier Smith is a good dude. No trouble, no problems, no foolishness. You can bring him out here to LA. He's a humble dude, lunch pail guy. Like, what did that mean to have a coach that coaches the position say, I want this guy in my position room? It's invaluable. That's something that you gotta continue to want and to push for. We just saw where Will's Chili Davis was up there interning with the Falcons and had the opportunity. Like, we need more of that. Yeah, it's slow progression, but it's progression because all of a sudden, if he's in that room and he's in one of those special teams rooms, maybe Christian Newell does get that shot. Maybe Jose gets that shot. Maybe those guys that we know are great kickers, and we've gotten to watch them for years. And yeah, as a fan, I do have an affinity for those guys. Maybe they get that opportunity because the coach on the other side is saying, "Oh yeah, those are guys that I also have an affinity for. At least give them a try." Like, that's invaluable. It's needed. And I think for us in the HBCU landscape to move forward, we have to get off of the simple thought of our players aren't getting drafted and move to the idea that we need coaches in those rooms from those schools that are gonna draft our players. Our Bulls didn't draft nobody. Our HBCU. I'm just saying, like, it didn't help down there. What is it what is what is it gonna take? And I think part of that is gonna be having someone in control that can say, "This is the best player in HBCU sports. We should draft. This guy is productive. Let's bring him in for a camp visit." I think those are some of the differences that you're gonna need to see if you wanna see the progress you want. But you're also gonna have to address the underlying issue. Like, yeah, facilities is an issue to a certain degree. You have people who don't even affiliate with HBCUs that don't know what your stadium looks like that scream facilities, facilities, facilities. You got people that are gonna say, "Oh, this guy who goes to Alabama State, they have a facilities problem." Have you seen their stadium? Stadium's brand new, practically. You got students that come to Bragg, don't know Bragg's renovated. "Oh, yeah, Davis football stadium, this problem." That's practically a new football stadium. What you talking about? And, like, you gotta have people in the room that do have an intimate knowledge of your struggles and your challenges are the things that ain't challenges. Like every HBCU ain't got the same struggles. May have similar problems, but we don't all have all the same problems. And I think, hey, what's up, man? Um, like I'm just saying, we have to get to a certain point where we're understanding that when it comes to us and getting our HBCU students to the NFL, the facilities thing has to happen. Like there's a little bit of truth to the argument. Again, our football stadium's straight, but the weight room could use a little bit of work. But also, it's that nutrition thing. That's the biggest thing. Like one of my favorite things is favorite podcast. It's not even a podcast, really sports talk radio. Growing up was the Jeff Cameron show. And to this day, I try to catch it. I don't catch it like I used to. But one of these things he used to always point out was talk about players eating Bama tape. And you notice the difference, nutrition wise, when those players went to Alabama versus what everybody else had. And now a lot of other schools have caught up. You look at Georgia, take a look at Florida State even. That nutrition program is different. And when you get these guys in a decent nutrition program, it hits different. Like that, just to modernize the term, it hit different. Like we have to get those guys fed right. Like we just do. Because I promise you, you keep Isaiah Land. Let them Cowboys keep Isaiah Land and see what happens. Because look, Diggs, BT Tucker, what? Look at Stephon Diggs. Look at both of them dudes. Those dudes. You can tell. They've been that nutrition program they're doing is working. And it's gonna continue to work because it's built like that. And until we realize that we're doing great on the social aspect. I got a question about that. I may post that on Thursday about these new clock rules, how they're gonna adversely affect HBCUs. But until we can realize we have to not only have the social atmosphere and the facilities, but also the nutrition side as well, we're gonna continue to kinda lack a little bit because we're still not doing more with more. So, man, it was an interesting week. A little good, a little bad, but hopefully more of our guys do get signed. And maybe XFL, USFL, the guys who don't sign. We do see where look, my guy Stadium, he's been there, he's playing professional ball, but we could get a little more. But maybe definitely. We have to commit a little more, especially in the way of nutrition. But it always helps because we definitely had a ram in the bush that helped us out, especially with Xavier. All right, y'all. I'm about to shut it down. Um, big shout out to HBCU Digital Network. This is home for student and Black techies. Check them out. All your technological questions. Ask him. He knows better than me. Y'all can see I'm over here on the live, fixing my mic, trying to get it sound right before, but as I started, it changed a little bit. I keep working until I get it right. Also, check them out in the HBCU nightly space. I told y'all I was there last night. Herb came in late, but normally Herb is in there holding it down. They were messing with him about basketball season. Herb wears a lot of hats, so check Josh and them out as well. They do a lot, and it's always candid and very true. But as stated, as always, y'all, it's gonna be Fangs up and appreciate HBCU Digital Network.
Yeah, baby, you know what time it is.